You can find the Great Plains 360 platform and apps you can find at greatplains360.org. And this is the homepage that people will land on. And through this homepage, you can access all of the interfaces. The participants will access the participant interface where they can access their account through the website or through the mobile apps. And coaches access their coaching account through this website. We'll get into all the feature sets and so forth, but this platform has been created for the Great Plains communities. It was secured by the Great Plains Tribal Leader Health Board, and this is the first platform that we're aware of in the entire country for a Native American community, and where the curriculum has also been adapted. We've been adapting the curriculum for about 1.5 years. We'll talk about that. We're going to continue to adapt more content as we move forward. Right now, the platform is equipped with 2 main programs, and this will continue to grow throughout the year. The first program on the left, as you can see, is the National Diabetes Prevention Program, and this one will be branded the Great Plains Diabetes Prevention Program. As you can see, it's a 12-month program for those of you that are familiar with it or unfamiliar. It's a 12-month program, but this will be unique because it'll be managed by Great Plains community members just utilizing this platform. It's made up of 26 modules that are presented over the course of 12 months. And again, we have adapted the curriculum with the Great Plains Tribal Leader Health Board curriculum and content team. There's unlimited engagement. The program has been built for intensive, results-driven annual program with the objective to lower A1C levels to prevent the transition into type 2 diabetes. It's really targeted towards the pre-diabetes population, which is anywhere from typically, 36 to 42%. Providers do follow the National Diabetes Prevention Program criteria. And when you're ready to move forward with these programs, we'll detail that all out for you. And again, it is the National Diabetes Prevention Program, and this has been proven to be successful. That is the one program endorsed by, the CDC and the United States Preventative Services Task Force for the pre-diabetes population. So that's the DPP, the first program. On the right, you'll see Great Plains 360. And this is the second program that you can really utilize in many different ways. The Great Plains 360 is really made up for, healthy lifestyle, chronic disease prevention. Just like the other program, it's managed by Great Plains coaches. There's up to 52 modules because you can have a module each week, and it can be up to 52 modules. It's the adapted curriculum. As we mentioned, we've adapted the DPP modules, 26 modules so far, and we'll continue to adapt those for our additional programs that we'll show you in just a minute. But this Great Plains 360, again, doesn't have to be a 12-month program. It can be anywhere from 1 to 52 weeks in duration. So the coach and the provider will decide how long the program is, whether you want a 10-week program, a 20-week program, a 52-week program. The difference between this program and the other is that the Great Plains providers will decide who qualifies for this program. There's a lot of criteria that goes into the National Diabetes Prevention Program, but for this program, the Great Plains providers will decide who qualifies. It's also intensive, results-driven, customizable program with the objective to manage weight, lifestyle, prevent chronic disease. But again, the difference is that this program is really for everyone. The providers decide who qualifies, and no one's denied access into this program. So these are the modules that are included in the National DPP. And these are the 26 modules. And when you're deploying this program, we'll show you this, but each week a new video module and lesson plan is deployed into the participant account. And you can see all the areas of focus it covers. So this is the first program that's available today, right now, on the Great Plains 360 platform. This is the second one. This is the Great Plains 360 modules. And this is up to 52 weeks, 52 modules. You can see the first one is introduction. And then the second one is NDPP curriculum. This includes the 26 modules of the previous program, these right here. And these have all been adapted towards the Great Plains communities. And then additional modules for the duration of the year. So in this program, there are 52 modules, and there's one each week. It's a very similar experience for the participant. But again, Great Plains 360, this program, the providers decide who qualifies. Want to show you the additional programs that are coming out this year. As you can see at the top, we've got the Great Plains Diabetes Prevention Program that we just covered. And then we've got the 360 modules, the healthy lifestyle, the weight loss, the heart health. These right now are making up 12-month programs. But we are releasing in the coming months a hypertension program, and we're going to be working with the Great Plains Tribal Leader Health Board to adapt the content to the Great Plains communities. We also are rolling out our diabetes education and monitoring, mental and emotional health later in the year, and then oral health and arthritis programs in the fourth quarter. We'll work with the Great Plains Tribal Leader Health Board to adapt all of this curriculum, and it'll be available for you. And again, these programs, the National Diabetes Prevention Program has to be a 12-month program. The rest of these can be as long as the provider decides. If you want it to be a 4-week program, an 8-week program, a 12-week program, a 20-week program, it's really up to the provider. And that's what we were hearing a lot of from some of the communities, that they wanted the ability to deploy programs that weren't 12 months in length. So just also wanted to mention the implementation support that comes with this platform and the programs. The Great Plains Tribal Leader Health Board has not only secured a platform for all of their members to utilize at no cost, but also unlimited support, for all aspects of this online program. So our team has a lot of materials to help you, brand messaging campaigns, to create awareness for your new online program, to recruit candidates, and then also qualifying processes that we utilize to help determine whether somebody is really ready for an online behavior change program. You can see number 2, we've also created an onboarding video. I'm going to play that for you in just a minute. The onboarding video is mainly utilized as a qualifying step, the last step in qualifying for participants. Providers usually, after getting a lot of interest, they usually send out the onboarding video and, to qualify participants and see if they're ready for an online program. But it also does a good job explaining how the program works on this type of asynchronous platform. So we're going to play that for you in just a minute, so you can see how we set expectations with participants. We also have brochures, depending on how you want to reach out and recruit, but we have brochures that can be edited. So you can put your own program information, contact information, and so forth. In regards to ongoing contacts for this platform moving forward, and again, we'd like you guys to reach out to us whenever you'd like support, whenever you have questions, whenever you want to strategize. This is basically what we do every day, and we'd love to basically engage with you and help. But the contacts for this platform, for any aspect of it, is Delnita Traversi, who opened the call, Shannon Uday, who is currently out, but she'll be back soon from maternity leave, Ashley Richies, and myself. And we'll pass this deck to Delnita after this call so she can share it with the group. Now I would like to play the onboarding video for everyone, so you can see how we explain the program to participants and set expectation. And this can apply to multiple programs.
Hello, thank you for your interest in the National Diabetes Prevention Program. This video will explain how the program works, program objectives, and the expectations if you commit to joining our 12-month program. This program is all about behavior change, improving your health, and preventing the onset of diabetes. What is the National DPP? It is a 12-month curriculum-based program that assigns you to a lifestyle coach. The program focuses on a variety of topics to help you lose weight, eat better, get active, reduce stress, and prevent diabetes. How does the National Diabetes Prevention Program work? First, you have to qualify for the program. Individuals that have prediabetes through blood tests or have a high risk of having prediabetes through a health survey qualify for the program. You can ask your doctor for a simple A1C blood test or take a quick online health quiz at doihaveprediabetes.org. If you qualify for the program, you can use the website dashboard or the mobile app on your phone. Each week, participants interact with their coach, read the lesson content, and watch a weekly video lesson. Your coach will guide your program experience, educate you, support you, and encourage you at your convenience. What are participants' most common objectives from this program? The most common goals for participants start with preventing diabetes, losing weight, reducing the risk of heart disease, and improving energy. The DPP is an engagement-based program that includes weekly curriculum modules and a lifestyle coach to manage your 12-month program experience and provide unlimited private counseling, guidance, and support. All coaches are trained to deliver the National Diabetes Prevention Program. The weekly curriculum modules include these topics. As you can see, the program includes important modules on nutrition, physical activity, mindfulness, stress management, and sleep. How do you achieve success in this program? The answer is through engagement. The National DPP is an engagement program that produces results. To achieve program success and meet your health improvement goals, you must engage each week and truly commit to changing your lifestyle. First, you need to ask yourself, is this a good time to participate in the DPP? Do you have time to review the weekly content? Do you feel comfortable using a mobile app or computer to engage with your coach every single week? Do you feel motivated to make lifestyle changes at this time in order to reduce your risk of developing diabetes? If you feel the timing is right for you, can you commit to the following? Can you commit to engaging with your coach each week? Can you commit to following the guidance of the program and the advice of your coach? Oh yeah, and did we mention, can you commit to engage every single week? If you are ready to move forward and commit to this 12-month program, please ask your provider for the commitment form and how to move forward.
So thanks for watching that. And, we also use this video to kind of explain how the program works for participants, but it's mainly utilized as a last step in qualifying. And providers typically send this link to candidates of their program and have them watch this video and sign a commitment form before starting. Commitment forms are optional if you want to use those. That's typically how it's utilized. And regardless of whether or not you utilize our collateral to recruit and qualify participants, you will also, let's see here, regardless of how you qualify participants for your program, you'll pick a start date. And the day your program starts, and we will train everyone on this, but you'll load the participants into the system. It's their first name, last name, and email. And an email is sent out to everyone, and it has a registration link. Participants will follow that registration link. They'll set up a password, and then they'll land on this page. And this is the Great Plains platform, and it's the profile section of the participants. And we're really just gathering the information that we want as providers and the CDC wants if it's the national DPP, but the height and the weight, so we can establish the BMI, the gender, the birth date, and then a couple additional areas such as allergies, personal and health goals, motivation. This information will populate the participant's profile on the coaching dashboard. So the coach has this information readily available about participants. But after the profile is filled out, the platform is now live, or shall we say, the account is now live. And the participant can either engage through the website like we are, or can engage through the mobile app. We'll show you the mobile app in a minute. We find that a majority of participants engage through the mobile app. But this is the dashboard. And you can see on the upper left, participants can go into the homepage, they can go into the lesson plans. That's the video modules and lesson plans. The messaging center, and that's the communication taking place back and forth between the participants and the coach. The personal timeline of the participant, and then the online community below that. In the center here, there's a second way to access the weekly video modules and lesson plans. On the right, tracking physical activity minutes. Below that, tracking weight. And on the right-hand side, tracking photojournaling meals and hydration. You know, we've built in the ability for the platform, and especially the mobile apps, to photojournal meals. And this creates great communication between the coach and the participants in regards to what's being consumed, the portion that's being consumed, recommendations, and ideas about other foods. So this creates great communication. Participants can record their meals and hydration through the website, but as you can imagine, it's much more simplistic with a mobile app. The mobile app, participants just pull out the mobile app, take a picture, and put it away. So it's a very simple process, but we'll show you that in a minute. On the right-hand side, you can say it says week 62, and that's just because this is a demo account and it's dated a year. When the program starts, it's going to be week 1, and a week later, week 2, and typically they go for up to 52 weeks. You can see here, connect Fitbit. So if participants have a Fitbit device, they can connect their Fitbit account to their platform account and automatically track their weight if they have a scale, or their physical activity if they have a pedometer. We have also recently integrated the Apple Watch, and that is in final stages of testing. That will be integrated soon. We'll ask for permission from the Tribal Leader Health Board to add that into this platform, which we assume we'll receive, and we'll integrate it in. On the bottom here, this is one of the areas where we track the weekly weight loss progression. This is a demo account, so please forgive the lack of activity in here. Typically, it's going up and down, showing the weight each week. On the right-hand side, it shows the percentage of that participant's goal weight that they identified. So again, this is the dashboard, and we're going to go into the weekly lesson modules and video. And I'd like to start on the bottom. You can see all of these weeks are populated. When the program starts, week 1 will be in the participant's account. And 7 days later, week 2 will populate their account. 7 days after that, week 3, and so forth. These are all populated because it's a demo account, as you know. As you can also see, the participant realizes whether or not they watched the entire video, or as you can see under week 2, did not finish that, only 15% complete. I'm going to go ahead and play the first 30 seconds of this video so you can get a feel for it.
Welcome to session 2 of the National Diabetes Prevention Program. Last week, we learned about the program and why it's so important to reduce your risk of type 2 diabetes. Hopefully, you have taken some time to explore the app, message your coach, and introduce yourself to your group. This week, you'll be introduced to the My Native Plate and how it can help you to reach your weight loss goals. The My Native Plate was created as a resource to help individuals, just like yourself, determine what and how much they should put on their plates each day to create balanced meals. When it comes down to it.
And then with each weekly video module, there's a lesson plan covering all the content from that week. The Tribal Leader Health Board did a great job adapting this curriculum too. We're really impressed. So this is the lesson plan and video module center. Dropping down on the left, this is the messaging center. Now, this isn't filled out because it's just a test account, but typically this is the communication that goes back and forth between the participant and the coach. So the participant can directly message their coach. The participant can respond to a coach's message. The participant can respond to a coach's broadcast message. The participant can track and photojournal their meals, which pops up in real time through the system. They can track their weight that pops up in real time. They can track their physical activity, which will pop up in real time as it's recorded. And the coach sees all of this in real time and can respond and create back and forth communication. The one thing we want to leave you with on a platform like this is that, on-site programs are great for attention. When individuals actually make it to an on-site program, sit down, or maybe they're on a live Zoom session, and it's a live session, and usually that's really good attention span. But the advantage to an asynchronous platform like this, and when I say asynchronous, I mean people are engaging at their convenience. They're not on at once at the same time. They can be, but typically people are engaging at their convenience. And the main advantage to this type of platform is the fact that, the coach can engage with the participants much more often than just once a week. If it's the National Diabetes Prevention Program or many other programs, the coach sees those participants once a week or even less. But on a platform like this, coaches can touch the participants as often as they want by messaging out. And the coach, again, can send direct messages to individuals, but the coach also has the ability to broadcast message. And Ashley will show you this in just a minute. And this is the type of strategy that really, you can take advantage of with a platform like this, because, with an asynchronous platform, the coach can message out to the participants as often as you like, not just once a week when, you see them live. And we have daily messages for all of our programs that have been approved by the CDC if it's a CDC program, or approved by our committees if it's not. And it's just daily supportive messaging. And it only takes the coach a minute to open up a cohort, cut and paste one of these messages and send it out. And everybody in that groups get touched. And that's what's really different on a platform like this compared to, the live in-person sessions, because this gives us the ability to touch the participants much more often than just seeing them once a week or once a month. And we'll work with you as time goes on and share best practices, but it's really taking advantage of platforms like this. Moving down the left-hand side into the timeline. So this is the timeline of the participant. And if they're photo journaling their meals, it's going to pop up at the top. Now, this will reset every week because from the participant's perspective, we focus on the next week at hand. And if they're recording their meals, they can either open up their mobile app, take a picture and put it away, and take, 3 to 5 seconds, or they can add details if they choose, such as their pre-meal hunger level, their pre-meal mood. It's going to automatically timestamp everything. You can add a description if you choose. You can you can identify the portion of the meal that you consumed. So if participants want to give details, they can. If they just want to take a picture of what they're consuming, they can do that too. Dropping down here, this is the second area where we track the weekly weight loss progression. And again, this is a bad example because it's a demo account that ultimately hasn't been recorded each week. Otherwise, you'd see, the weight loss progression as you move forward. On the right-hand side, this is the physical activity recorded each week. And again, this resets each week physical activity, so it can focus on that 150 minutes per week that the CDC suggests. And as you can see, if you scroll down and go over, the actual activity will identify what the physical activity was, but more importantly, the coach has a better description of this, and the coach can see the minutes and what the activity was. The participant is already familiar with it. Dropping down, if participants want to track their stress and their sleep, they can do it here. And on the left, we want to drop down all the way to the online community. Now, the online community is, pretty basic. It's a wall where everybody from the same cohort can go and post something. Others can go on and comment on those posts. You can like other posts of individuals. It's pretty routine. You can obviously upload images, pictures, documents. What we want to leave you with in regards to this online community is that in an asynchronous platform like this, where participants are engaging at their convenience, this is the one area where members of the same cohort can engage with each other. So if they want to engage with other members of their cohort, the online community is where they can do it. So this is a quick look at the participant interface from the website. Now I want to show you the mobile app real quick. So this is the mobile app. Move these things. Okay, so this is a mobile app, and much like the account. You can see everything that the participant is tracking. Starting here, if we want to log activity, it's pulling up what type of activity. Let's say resistance training, 20 minutes. High activity level. And it's going to automatically in real time add this to the account and add to the physical activity minutes. Logging weight. It's a ruler that you can scroll with your thumb. Third is recording hydration. Participants can take a picture of what they're consuming. They can also add a description if they choose. And it's all coming down in real time, as you can see. And then same thing with logging meal. Participants have the opportunity to identify their pre-meal mood and their pre-meal hunger level. They do not need to do this. They can skip this, or they can identify it. They can take a picture of what they're about to consume, or they can pull from their library. They can identify the portion. They can add a description. And upload it. So this is the data tracking capabilities of the mobile app. On the bottom here, we're going to move over to the weekly video lessons and lesson modules. And much like, logging in from the website, participants can watch each weekly module here, and they can also read the lesson plan. As you can see, it identifies whether or not that lesson has been completed. We all know that, only 15% of week 2 is completed. That's why it shows 0. Dropping down, going over to the online community section. So this is the online community that participants have access to through the mobile app. And then all the way over on the right, the messaging center. So participants want to message their coach, or as their coach sends out messages to them or broadcast messages, it will all show up here, and documents, obviously. So this was a quick look at the participant engagement, both through the website interface and also through the mobile app. Now we're going to show you the coaching interface. Ashley, can we pass this to you?
Yeah, I do have access, so I'll go ahead and share my screen. Can you see this fine?
You can.
All right, perfect. So for demo purposes, I'm going to be showing you my coach account that is really filled in. So you'll notice that the branding is slightly different. I'll show you just a quick view. The Greater Plains site, of course, has the same formatting. It's just slightly different branding and coloring. It's going to be the same exact tools, though, and same features as the account that I'm showing you now. It's just a little bit more filled in, so it has more information to share with you. So this is the coach account. When the coach first logs in, this is the main page that they'll see. It is their dashboard. And this dashboard gives the coach an overview of all of the tools that they have access to. They see quick links to all the different pages. We'll go through these areas in a moment. The coach also can see a quick glimpse of the participants that they're working with in this manage user section. So all the participants that they're working with will be displayed down below, as well as a little bit of information about them. And then on the right-hand side, the coach can view the cohorts that they're working with. So whether the coach is working with one cohort or multiple, you'll see these listed over here, again, with a little bit of information about each cohort, like the amount of people within that cohort, the start date, and the week number. Let's see. The coach is also notified in this home screen. There are two main areas that the coach is notified. The first is this notification bell in the top right-hand corner. This is very similar to other social media platforms. When the coach is alerted, they're going to be there's going to be a red number here. So in our platform, what that means is a new message is being sent to the coach or a new comment is being made on the community board. So the coach will be alerted of those two main items here with a red number. And when there are notifications, there will be a direct link for the coach to click on that will bring them right to that message or right to that comment. That way they can re-engage back with that participant in a timely manner. Now, the coach is also notified right on the profile pictures of participants. So you'll notice that if I scroll down, some of these participants have a few colored numbers listed under their pictures. Now, these two colored numbers are more specific, these more specific notifications to this person, of course. Now, the red number signifies the amount of messages that this person has sent the coach that maybe the coach hasn't yet seen or hasn't yet responded to, while the blue number signifies the amount of meal logs or beverage logs that this person has added to their account that, again, maybe the coach hasn't yet seen, hasn't yet responded to. So these numbers will continue to accrue as this person is engaging with messages and with logging their meals. And they'll accrue up until the point that the coach reaches out to them individually. So these notifications are great to alert the coach of not only how engaged that person is, but it also gives the coach a good idea about when they should be reaching out to people on an individual basis. Because once they do send them an individual message, which I'll show you where we can do that in their profile in just a moment, these numbers will start back over at 0 and restart once they start re-engaging again. Next, I'm going to go within a cohort. So we simply click on the cohort name. And after a few seconds, it'll take us inside where we can see more specific info about that cohort. And then we also see all the participants within that cohort. So in this case, there are 5 people. So all 5 individuals are listed down below. We see some cohort information up at the top. So for example, we see week number and the start date. This account has been in here for quite some time, so that's why we see week 175. Normally, as Ray said, the program can go up to a full year or less if the coach and provider would like that. On the right-hand side, this is what we call our broadcast message area. This is essentially a place where the coach can broadcast out a message to the entire group all at one time. It's a really great feature because it saves the coach a little bit of time if they want to send the same message, maybe about the lesson or, maybe a motivational quote to everyone without having to send that message 5, 10, 20 different times, just depending how big the cohort is. So when the coach sends that message here, it broadcasts out to each person within that cohort. So it shows up within that participant's profile as a message. And it actually looks like it's an individual message. So they don't see that it's been sent to anyone else. They just see that it was sent to them. So when that person responds back, it then can become this private one-on-one conversation and start a great dialogue between the coach and that person. We do have an assortment of broadcast messages that we'd love to share with you. So we have that information all included within the platform. And those broadcast message templates you're able to use those at any point. We have a message for every business day of the year. And those they all pertain to the topic of the week, the topic of the session. And of course, if you have your own verbiage, you're more than welcome to use that as well. In addition to text here, coaches can send handouts as well as videos. We have attachments available that the coach can utilize to help complement the message that they're sending. So this is a very great feature. I personally love it a lot. Next, I'm going to go inside the participant's profile. So if I click the name of any participant, we're able to see more information about them. You'll notice a lot of this information was visible on Ray's side, on his participant's profile, but of course, we're seeing it in the coach's aspect. So up at the top, I can see profile information, front and center for me to reference, like age, weight trend data, personal and health goals, made motivation. So a lot of that initial information that was added in their profile, and of course, some information that's been tracked along the way is updated here. So again, it's front and center for me to reference when I'm looking through their profile and maybe when I'm sending them messages. On the right-hand side, there is a quick notes area. This is for My Eyes Only. This is a space that coaches can take notes on each person, where it's safely for My Eyes Only. The participant doesn't see these notes. So it's a great place to reference, goals that this person shared with me that I want to jot down, or maybe any other personal information that I want to remember to, help jog my memory about who this person is or what they're working on. Below that quick notes area, there's another dialog box. So this is a space where I can send a message that will go right to this participant. So this would be a more individualized message where I can be a little bit more personalized, adding their name or maybe providing them feedback on meals or answering a question that they asked me. If I scroll down a little bit further, I can see previous conversations going back and forth between me and this participant. If I scroll down, you'll notice that they are color coded, so I can see, and of course titled, so I can see who sent which message and refer back to any older messages that were sent. In the center of the screen, we have we have a lot of information. Firstly, we have food pictures. This is all the meals that have been logged by this participant. I can scroll back to the very beginning of when they first started logging their meals in the beginning of the program. But of course, the more recent ones populate up towards the top, so I can see that information first. Now I can see a little information just from a distance, and by hovering over, I can see a little bit more. But if I click on the photo, I see an enlarged version of that photo, a description that was added, as well as some answers to a few questions that were asked when the person is logging a meal. Our meal logging system is highly based on mindful eating and portion control. That's something that we promote, or both things that we promote throughout the program. So our meal logging system is focused on that. The weight tab is next, and this is where we have a lot more information on weight. So we can, of course, see the weight trend graph as they're going through the program. We can see a chart of their goal weight versus where they're at with meeting that goal weight. And then we can see all the specific weight entries that they've added, again, since the beginning of the program. So if we needed to refer back to any previous data, we certainly can do that. The exercise tab allows us to see weekly exercise for this participant. If we hover over any of these figures here, we can see the amount of minutes that the activity was performed, the type of activity, as well as the duration. The color coding signifies whether it's light intensity, moderate intensity, or high intensity. And that's depicted with yellow, which isn't shown here, orange, and red. We can also see that this same exercise is listed down below. Engagement shows us a more detailed piece of information. So the engagement area breaks down how this person is doing in the program and what they have participated in. So for example, for each session, we can see if and when they viewed the video for that session. If they opened up the participant guide that goes along with that session, we can document communication made here. So for example, if you maybe host a webinar with your group or reach out via phone call or email outside the platform, you have the ability to document that if you'd like. We can see a breakdown of exercise minutes, the initial weight taken during that session. We can also see points for that week. And points are another way to gauge engagement. Essentially, points are accrued for every action that the participant takes in the program, such as watching the video, sending messages, logging meals. So the more points they have during the week, the more engaged they are during that week. The next tab is notes. This is where we can take more notes on this person. We've divided it out into a few different categories. They look like little Post-it notes. And this is, again, for My Eyes Only. Any notes taken here, the participant does not see. The next two tabs are our two content tabs. So we have PDFs and videos available for the coach to utilize in their PDF and video catalogs. So you have the ability to scroll through these and see all of the different pieces of curriculum you have access to. This includes facilitator guides, it includes handouts for every lesson. You can even access the participant guides here. A lot of this information the participant also has once they reach those lessons, but if you wanted to complement a message with, one of these handouts, you certainly can. For example, if maybe this participant is asking about tips for sleep, I can start typing in sleep in the search engine and see what handouts we have available. We can also upload our own content here. So if you have a handout from your organization that you'd like to add in, you have the ability to do that, and it will remain in your coach account to use for this person or for future cohorts. Videos is very similar. We have some additional complementary videos to go along with the curriculum. You can even upload your own videos if you'd like. It's optional, of course. The auto response tab is next. This is normally empty when you're first starting, but you can add in some phrases that maybe you tend to say fairly frequently from person to person. And you'll notice that when you're going through the program with your participants, maybe that is a specific motivational quote, like one of these here, or maybe a specific recommendation on fruits and vegetables that you tend to say a lot. You can add that phrase to your cue. And then the next time you wanted to send it to participants, rather than having to type it out every single time, with just a few clicks of some buttons, it will bring it over here to this dialog box so that you can send it out. Save yourself a little bit of time. The stats tab shows you stress levels, sleep hours, and energy levels when the participant is logging that. So you can see it in a little trend graph. And then the messages tab is actually exactly what we see on the right-hand side. It's just a little bit bigger, so we can write a more lengthy message. We can also read a more lengthy message down below. Next, I'm going to bring you to another page where we can see more information about actually, one more thing I want to mention before we leave the participants profile. There is a little gear icon here, and that's the last thing I want to show you in this area. If I click on this button, it allows me to edit some information. So if you are doing the diabetes prevention program, this is where you can add in a lot of that information, the intake information, things like education level, enrollment source and motivation, how they qualified for the program, ethnicity and race. You have the ability to add that in here, and this helps to make the CDC report submission a lot easier. So once that information is saved in here, and of course you're going through the program and maybe the CDC reaches out and says, your report is due, because they do collect reports every 6 months or so. Simply the coach or the admin, whoever has that role, would go to the CDC report tab on the left-hand side. And there's just a few pieces of information the platform needs to collect and create a nice, neat report for you to submit to the CDC. That includes your reporting period, so that 6-month time frame that the CDC is looking for data on, as well as the CDC organization code. Once the platform has that, and of course you click this button, it takes a few seconds for that report to generate, and it will download to your computer. It doesn't automatically submit, and we've done that on purpose so that you have the ability to review it yourself. You can make changes or add to it if you need to, and then you can take that exact same report that is downloaded and submit that through your SAMS portal for submission. So we've made this process really easy. I really love this feature, and I hope you find it helpful as well. Next, I'm going to go into the group pages area. This is an area where we can see how the whole group is doing as a whole. So when we're in the user's profile, we get a glimpse of, how that particular person is doing. We can even see a breakdown of if they watched the videos during the session, how many minutes of activity they performed during each session. this is where we'd go to see how the group is doing. So I see all the cohorts that I'm working with. I clicked on real-time report, and it brings me to this page where I can see each participant within that cohort. And each person is on a separate row. And as I scroll through, I can see information about that person. Starts out with age and weight trend data. This is also where I can document communication. I can see recent physical activity minutes here. And then as I continue to scroll over, this is where I can see that piece of engagement. Now, the very first row is showing me the sessions that this person has gone through, or this group has gone through or is currently going through. And then the bubbles down below are color-coded to indicate if the participant completed a lesson or if they have not completed a lesson. Now, the darker and lighter color bubbles signify that the lesson has been complete. The only difference between the different shades of blue is the lighter one signifies that there's a makeup session. So it still counts as completed. It's just mostly for CDC data. If there's a white or an empty bubble, that means the participant has not completed the session. So this is a really great way for the coach to check in each week to see who's engaging, who maybe needs a little extra nudge for some encouragement to complete that session. Lastly, I'm going to show you the community. Now, the community is very similar to what Ray was showing on the participant interface. The coach and the participant are both able to post topics to the community board. And then when topics are posted, they are able to comment on those topics and like those topics. Very similar to social media platforms or a community forum. The only difference here is that the coach has the ability to toggle between different groups. So if the coach is working with more than one cohort, they'll see those cohorts listed on the right-hand side to easily toggle between them, because every cohort has their own community section. And then they also can moderate a little bit more. So you'll notice that the coach has access to removing any posts or any comments made from anyone in their cohort. And we've done this so that if someone, posts something inappropriate or for whatever reason they need to take that down, they are able to do that. So they have more moderation ability. And that is a quick glimpse at the coach interface. I will stop sharing my screen and see. Ray, do you want to add anything else?
You know what? We really just kind of wanted to open it up for any questions you might have. We want everybody to know that, we know we're giving you a lot of data. This is a massive data download. But we don't expect anybody to, really remember all of this. We plan to spend much more time with you. If you are ready or curious to find out more, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll jump on a one-on-one session with you. We'll talk about your environment. We'll talk about the collateral that we have. We'll talk about ultimately what suits you best. We'll answer questions that you have. We're going to provide ongoing training sessions because, there's a lot for, new providers to come up to speed with. And Ashley will be holding monthly best practice sessions just to get all the providers utilizing the platform. And those are curious about launching soon, get them together on a call and answer questions, talk about best practices. There's typically a topic each month that Ashley's going to cover, but it's really opening it up. And, we get on and we demo the platform to answer questions and so forth. So there's a lot more coming. We just wanted to introduce the platform to the group today, and we'll do this again next week. And hopefully we'll start working with you soon. We've got a tremendous amount of collateral to share with you. Are there any questions out there, either that you'd like to ask over chat or jump on and ask in person? So it looks like we have one from Kim. Can you spend a little bit of time talking about how coaches interact with the participants as a group cohort in real time, whether on Zoom or in person? Ashley, do you want to start that? I mean, to answer your question, Kim, just so you know, as far as real time, the data on the platform comes back and forth in real time. So if the coach is on the platform and they see, data pop up from any participant, they can actually grab it, go back and forth in real time. But for an actual live video session, today we also use Zoom. You can use any of the webinar platforms, but we use Zoom for that. We are going to build in this calendar year in 2023, we're building in video conferencing capability into the platform. And the advantage or built into the platform over outside is, one, it'll be easy for you to initiate, but also all the data from that recording, from the engagement, who joins the meeting and so forth, will be recorded. So you'll have that engagement piece, recorded and tracked also. But that will happen this year, and coaches will be able to launch, video sessions, and participants from that cohort will be able to join. And that is coming, but that's not built in yet, Kim. That should be in probably, by this summer.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we do have facilitator guides for each session, just as the CDC has for their program, the DPRP program. I would probably recommend utilizing that and going through the facilitator guide, showing the video during the class, and letting the participants go through the participant guide. Usually that will take a full hour because a lot of people have questions, just depending on your group, but that would be a great way to utilize Zoom, or, once we have the webinar platform built into our system, to utilize that program.
Ashley, did you see Kim's second question? You started to cover that a little bit, so I wasn't sure if you saw that. But are most coaches still utilizing weekly sessions to cover the materials with the group and then augment the lesson with asynchronous interactions through the platform?
Let's see. Yeah, so our program does go through, our DPP program has a specific schedule. So the first section of that is weekly sessions, and then it goes through bi-weekly sessions, kind of makes the transition to monthly sessions a little easier. So you'll have that schedule once you start within the program. So they are still utilizing weekly sessions to cover the materials.
And Kim, I think, you're correct in your assumption on your question, and that's that the platform's automatically going to deliver the new weekly video module and lesson plan to the participant, each week. And, unless it's the DPP and you move into monthly sessions, then it delivers it once a month. It follows that scheduled delivery. But the coaches will be able to determine how often, the modules come out. And if the coaches pick, 4-week program, 10-week program, 20-week program, 52-week program, you'll ultimately decide, when that content is coming out to the participants and filling their account where they have access to it. On top of that, the platform has facilitator guides for the coaches for each lesson plan, and that has a tremendous amount of supporting collateral. And it's collateral where Ashley mentioned the daily broadcast messages. Well, a lot of those daily broadcast messages include a piece of collateral to send out, and that's provided for you, and it's documentation and collateral. So there is a tremendous amount of additional collateral that the coaches send out manually besides what's automatically sent out. So, and we'll cover that with you as, you start becoming more comfortable with the platform and so forth. But yes, you are correct, where the platform automatically sends it out, and then the coach augments basically, the engagement by, correspondence back and forth and providing additional collateral. And everyone, we're right at the 60-minute mark, and we know that some of you have to go. Thank you for joining. We're recording this, so we're going to send the collateral that we covered today to Delnita, and she'll have access to pass that out to all of you. And she has recorded this webinar. Anybody wants to stick around, we'll be on. Ashley and I will be on for another, for as long as anybody wants to answer questions. But those of you that are leaving, thank you for joining. We look forward to working with you.